Yo, yo, yo. How we doing? Thank you. Oh my God. There we go. Light work. Yo. Oh my God. Bro, I just started stream, bro. Please. Yeah, you know what? Go score real quick, homeboy. Go score right quick. Oh, shikata. Nikoro odoru. Bro. Oh my God, he missed. He missed. Buddy. Okay, yep. Oh my God, zero defense, zero shooting, zero overalls, zero defense goalie. You too, bro. Everyone got zero and everything. God damn. Give me that shit. Oh my God. Give that shit to me. I do everything myself. Hey, almost 3K goals though. Ass. Hey, man, motherfuckers. Mmm. Right here. Right here. If you miss, oh my. Russ it, I dare you. Bro. How does line still work, bro? Do I need to be straight on them? Three 2001 goals. Yeah, buddy. Both CFs suck. It's fried. Wow, we actually won. Okay. Yeah, give me blue CF. Bro, my elbow. Shit, looky hurts, but might have went too crazy on the triceps yesterday. Man, I had a whole self-care routine today, bruh. I'm feeling good. I am rejuvenized like shit. In there. Yeah, NEL CF. You really can't win if your CM is NEL, bruh. Deadass. Really? Right there? Light work. You're gonna lob. That's fine. Oh my. Bro. Pablo. Oh, come on. Yeah, I'm at 5 king because like the server's inside my house, bro. I peek him like in. Yo. Okay. So Iguri just goes through my dribble. That's nice. Wait, they actually gave him voice lines? Holy shit. That's like a good boy. There you go. What the? Over here? Ah, now you got that. Ain't work. You're not paying attention. Okay. This the GK jumped for joy. Holy shit. Out of my way. This is diabolical. That's fine. Hey, mama up there. Yeah. Why over there? Oh, it's open gay? I could have gotten that. Eh. Man, this motherfucker blame everyone but himself. Everyone but himself. I hate motherfuckers that can't take accountability, bro. Go play. What's ass? What the fuck are you doing? Nice. What the hell? Oh fuck no. That's fine. Kono Shadow. This team, and it doesn't. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's it. Nice. Okay, stay on him. Stay on him over there. Yeah. This dude had ample time to aim. Okay, that's fine. Nice. Up. Holy shit. Nice. No, not to hit. Oh my god, why did he keep passing to him? Holy shit. Yeah, we're doing that. We're going immediately for that. The fuck? Okay. Bro, I got an NPC on my team. I got a non-playable character on my team. What is this? Over here, dude. No, not back to him. Not back to him. Oh my god. Not back to him, bro. What the fuck was that? Bro. I'm getting swarmed. Like, what the fuck? Wait. Oh my god, bro. Like, he kept passing to him. Like, please. Oh my fucking god. You can't do anything without that, dude. Christ. I'm literally running a 1v3. Like, holy shit. Over here, dude. Bro. Holy shit. I ran the fade of all fucking time. Yeah, hold on, bruh. Give me that IQ real quick. Buddy. No way, Don Lorenzo. I'm the A-seater. Yeah, you're so fried. Watch what happens when I'm CM, buddy. Watch what happens. Like, what the hell are we talking about? Yeah. Oh, you're gonna heel flick? Out of here. This way. Why are you this way? Oh, this dude actually has tunnel vision. What the fuck? Over here gotta juggle my life off. God damn. Yeah, yeah, keep doing that, keep doing that. Out of here. Yeah. Fuck out here with that bullshit. I play better as CM. You ain't getting past nobody, bruh. What the fuck was that? Bro, please look where you're diving. Back here. That's fine. Hey man, motherfucker. Mmm. Bro. This dude did a whole somersault. The fuck? Nice. Out of here with that. That's fine. That's fine. Fuck. Out of here. How long's that cooldown? Tamae ore no koe narai. Oh, okay, GK. Right here, right here. There we go. Okay. Out of here. Oh yeah, pass it, pass it. I don't give a fuck. What the? Bro? Yeah, good try, buddy. Switch to Kaiser all you want. Bro. What? It didn't matter, bro. Don't matter. Blocking your only option. What? Ah. Oh, no, you don't. Just for you, I'm a bully now. Okay. Okay then. What's that? Dankyo? Nah, I'm tripping. That's a random. That's fine. Oh, RCF is bad. Like, why are you even CF? Motherfucker was asking for a dab up. Oh, hell no. Like, bro, how ass can you be at CF? Holy shit. Give me the ball. Just give me that shit, bro. This guy must be the sorriest Kaiser user I've ever seen, bro. W reaction time or what? Right here, right here. No, don't go up. Oh shit. Oh shit. Wait, use it, use it, use it. Come on, motherfucker. What the? Why are there two? Yo, yo, yo. Oh my god. I did not touch that shot. uh, damn. I held it too. Hold it too. Give me that shit, boy. Pass, bruh. Oh, okay. What? I literally had game point and this motherfucker took it from me. Oh. Man. What even is the Easter Kaiser event, bruh? Game's so fucking cooked. Mm, mm, mm. Bum, bum, bum. Cut middle. What the fuck going on? Oh shit. Yo, I don't think I can play this game any longer, bro. The fuck? There we go. Took my ass long enough. Yo. Goalie sat on that for so long, bro. At least he passed it up. What the fuck? Oh, oh my days. Just give the ball to me. Give the ball to me. It's we. Oh, hell no. Oh. There we go. Over here, buddy. What the fuck? This is a nothing burger ass CF. Over here. Oh my days. I keep getting nothing burger CFs, bro. This shit pissing me off. Dead ass. It all suck, bro. Holy shit. Oh, come on. Over here. Oh. Easy one scam, blue lock. Go. I don't know about dashing. Hmm. Kinda. Yeah. What kind of shot is that, bro? Yeah. What the hell are we doing? Nice. Like, what the fuck? This guy did all of that just for a lob pass? No, don't start doing this. Is he paying attention? Yes, he is. Hmm. Go, go, go. Go defend. Oh. What did I know? Yo, you're inside the box, gang. Bruh. Oh my god, I hate these motherfuckers. Type shit. Oh my god, bro. Pass it up. Holy shit. Yeah, that is my last match. Fuck. Hold on though. Big man Nicholas responded to me. Stream it and then delete the VOD once I'm done. Okay. You know what? Yeah. That is a very, very good idea. Nicholas really is the GOAT. Alright. No capture. Window. Is that the right one? Pretty sure it is. Oh yeah, it is. Alright, let me go warm up some food real quick and then react to some content. Gentlemen. All right, we are ready. Oh yeah, gotta bring the face cam on too. All right, there we go. We got Evil Teen thinks she can get away with the murder. Check it out.
This is 20-year-old Devon Howard. Devon is sitting in a cold interrogation room alongside his 3 co-accomplices due to their suspected involvement in the brutal shooting and murder of 27-year-old Andrew Janicek. Coincidentally, all 4 claim that they had no involvement in the crime whatsoever, and in fact don't seem to take the situation seriously at all.
What the hell?
Where did you pick her up at? Okay. Relax, it's okay.
No, I'm fine. I'm just tired.
Okay.
I was involved in the murder of somebody.
Oh, the diamond's right there.
What the group doesn't realize at this time is that Andrew's murder was fully recorded on multiple security cameras.
Wow.
Which shows a man getting out of 19-year-old Alicia Valdez's car before killing Andrew. Even more disturbing is that the same vehicle would drive over Andrew's lifeless body before fleeing the scene.
What?
Alexis Ellis, a bystander at the scene, would hear the gunshot go off and rush over to Andrew to perform CPR while her friend Alyssa called 911.
Jeffcom 911, what is the address of the emergency?
I don't know. I'm just at the corner. It's like Sheridan and 20th. Some guy just got shot, and they took off in a silver 2-door Pontiac, and he's on the ground. He's like face down.
Did you see the person that shot him?
Did you see the person with the gun? Alexis, answer my question. Did you see the person with the gun? She said it looked like a little Mexican dude.
Okay, and it was just the one male in that vehicle, or did she see anyone else?
He got into the passenger seat of the car. Okay, he's hit in the chest. He's got bullets in the chest. We're flipping him over.
Wow.
Hang on, he's not breathing.
Oh fuck.
Unfortunately, Andrew would pass away within
Like
minutes.
that?
Even more unsettling is that the same car model would be seen at a local gas station later that night, where everyone inside would happily buy snacks, joke, and laugh as if nothing had happened just hours prior. The footage inside the gas station would identify the occupants of the vehicle as 19-year-old Alicia Valdez, 20-year-old Caleb Vigil, and 20-year-old Devon Howard Lopez. While painting these 3 out to be killers just based on their car make is clearly premature, it's enough evidence for police to file a warrant for the arrest of the 3 suspects so they can bring them in for questioning to try and determine if the bunch had any involvement in Andrew's death. What makes this case so interesting is the amount of blatant lies and misinformation that would come out during these interrogations. You would think that at least one of the suspects would feel guilty and confess, but everyone involved would fabricate their story and lie to lessen their perceived role in the crime. But at this point, the police have yet to apprehend any suspects. Their only lead is a lifeless body sprawled on the pavement and 2 shaken witnesses who made the 911 call. Police start by questioning Alexis, the witness who called the cops. Remember, this is an interview and not an interrogation, as currently Alexis is considered a witness rather than a suspect. But there is something suspicious about her that the detectives want to clarify. 3 years earlier, Alexis was charged as an accessory to murder after her boyfriend shot and killed one of his friends from the vehicle she was driving. The detective leading the interview, Nathan Geerdes, would discover this information during a brief preparation period prior to the interview and is curious as to if maybe she had more to do with Andrew's murder than she was letting on.
We pulled up, we parked in the back parking lot. My friend got out to go into the dispensary. Sitting on my phone, playing on Facebook, heard the shot, thought it was a firework for a second. So I looked up and saw the victim face down on the floor, and the shooter, there was a silver Pontiac in front of the victim, and the shooter was in front of the car, still kind of standing by the victim's body with the gun pointed at him. And then got back into the Pontiac on the passenger side, They hesitated for a minute on which way they're gonna pull off. Looked like they were trying not to hit him. They kind of looked around the parking lot to see if anyone saw it. I was kind of trying to duck as much as possible. I got out of the car. Once I saw that they were gone, ran up to him. I said, "Are you hit?" He said, "Yes, please help me." Called 911, let him know there was an ambulance on the way. Sounded like he was kind of...
So she had
he was
an
breathing
ex
anything
that
else. After 2 minutes, the crying stopped, so went to check for a
she had
pulse.
an ex
There was
that
no pulse.
was involved in the murder before.
You alright?
Take note of Alexis's posture when discussing the shooting. She's leaned in towards the officer and seems comfortable, showing little signs of resistance. This language presents truthfulness on her behalf, so it's unlikely she feels any guilt, which likely means that her recollection of events is indeed accurate to what she believed happened.
So you hear nothing. The first thing that catches your attention is a shot. Okay? Are you familiar with guns?
That's what I'm on probation for.
How so?
I was dating a guy for 3 weeks. He asked for a ride, and shot and killed somebody at the King Soopers on Sheridan Hampton in 2015.
Damn, bro.
He was 5 feet in front of me on that one too.
Got some tremendous luck.
Yeah.
Did you get charged?
Accessory to a crime, F4.
How does this make you feel?
I don't know. I mean, it was hard. I was glad I was able to react like that because I didn't react like that with my case. At the same time, my PO and everybody's probably gonna chew my ass for it, but he didn't die alone. He knew somebody was there
How
trying
did
to help.
PO chew your...
Just being around it and being around the situation.
Is it your fault?
No, but there's
Did you know this was gonna go down?
no.
This interview clearly showcased the responses suspects make when dealing with discomfort. We could physically see her subtle movement patterns and how they coincided with certain emotions Alexis was feeling. Her body language makes sense. She felt uncomfortable while discussing her own criminal history, which is completely reasonable. However, when discussing a crime she had no part in, her demeanor changed significantly, with an open posture and willingness to answer every question. And with this, we should be now more prepared to analyze the interrogation of a less innocent suspect later on in this video. Following this interview, police would continue their hunt to find the whereabouts of the 3 inside the suspected vehicle, and it wouldn't take them long at all. Just a few hours later, at 4 a.m., an officer spotted a vehicle closely resembling the one described by Alexis driving recklessly and pulled it over. It quickly became clear that this was no ordinary traffic stop.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Hey, Officer Lloyd Denver Police. You can't turn left there.
Oh, I can't?
No, it says there's a big sign up there that says "Do not turn left." That's just,
Oh,
You
yeah.
don't have a front plate either. Is it up in the window?
Yeah, because
Okay.
my thing is broken, so I got to get a new one to actually hold it.
The bracket.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Do you have your license, registration, insurance, ma'am?
There's those.
Okay.
There you go.
Gracias. Alicia Valdez. Alicia, gotta have you step out for a second. Don't grab anything with you, okay? Just step on out for me. Yeah, put your hands behind your back. You got a warrant, okay?
Why?
Why do you have a warrant? You probably know that better than I do, but we're gonna do some research and tell you exactly what it is. Yeah, they put out a felony warrant out for you.
A felony one.
Yeah.
Yep. Do you have anything on you I need to know about?
Playing dumb is crazy.
Alright, if you wanna watch them, I'll pat him down real quick. I'm just gonna set you down on the curb, okay? You just put your wallet on the top, man. I'll give it back to you in a sec here, okay? Go ahead and just put him right behind. You're not in trouble, you're not going to jail, you're not getting arrested right now. Alright, just gonna pat you down real quick, man. You can put your phone in your pocket. Same thing as your partner, you're not going to jail, you're not getting handcuffed. I'm just doing this for while you're gonna be sitting behind us, okay? Okay, anything in your hood or in your pockets?
Damn big body ass.
Perfect, okay, you can go have a seat with him, okay? Is this your gold phone? Okay.
What does Rage call him? Tortas?
At this very moment, the officer would discover a pistol inside the vehicle. Caleb had just stated there were no guns inside the vehicle just minutes earlier, so the officer quickly places Caleb under arrest so they can safely investigate this increasingly tense situation.
Stand up, man. Stand up. Travis, behind your back. You're not gonna tell me there's a gun in the seat next to you? What? You were gonna tell me that you're gonna try to leave a gun on the seat when you left? That'd be nice to know, wouldn't it? Oh, and a pocket full of bullets. How about this? I'm about to get out of the car. Officer, I have a gun on me. Right? What's that? One more person? They're all hooked. Did you let them know that this is in the car? SCCY 9mm.
All 4 would be arrested following the discovery of Caleb's pistol. However, throughout the entire process, Alicia, the owner of the car, would stay eerily optimistic, as if she hadn't yet connected the dots that her arrest was related to Andrew's murder.
Just stay right there for a second.
Yes, sir.
Why the fuck you smiling?
Seat over here in this black chair.
If you could possibly find me a room, I'd really appreciate it.
Now that the suspects have finally been secured, detectives would begin the process of individually interrogating all 4 suspects, with separate preparation and planning made for each interrogation in attempts to get as many differing stories and general information as possible. They would begin with Alicia Valdez, who was allegedly the driver of the vehicle. They sit her in an open room with a large TV to her left and a digital clock behind. This is drastically different from the cold, empty room seen earlier in this video. This is done purposefully. This room is meant to feel welcoming and open. The table creates a subconscious, comforting barrier between the suspect and the detectives, something that's absent in many more aggressive interrogations. The objective is to get Alicia to feel comfortable and willing to speak to the detectives. Remember, at this point, Alicia knows very little about what evidence the cops have.
There you go.
She has no idea that everything was recorded on CCTV, and they know that her car was there. The plan is to set a trap that prevents Alicia from denying that she was at the scene, so the more willing she is to talk at the beginning, the better. That's why they start the questioning off
No
lightly,
problem.
but it'll ramp up in no time at all.
Yeah, just have a seat right there.
Yeah, I don't know why she's acting so nonchalant.
Some water?
Thank you.
Nope. Okay.
This shit kind of crazy.
If you want.
Okay, thank you.
You alright? Chilly?
Cold. Yeah. It was nice earlier.
Yeah.
The detectives offer her water to immediately try to appear friendly and form a bond. People are much more likely to tell a friend something than they are a stranger, so this is an extremely important step. You'll notice this friendly demeanor slowly fades and changes as the interrogation continues.
And where do you live at?
Right now, kind of bit of everywhere.
Okay. Where do you?
In my car.
In your car? Okay.
Keep this fact in mind for later on in the interrogation, as the detective
Lives out of her
to
car.
prove she was
Okay.
at the scene later on.
We're in the car with you today. It's your car, right?
Mm-hmm.
How long have you owned that car?
I've had that car for, I believe, about 6 months.
So 6 months about?
Mm-hmm.
You've owned it?
Where did you get it?
I bought it from a public auction down in Colorado Springs.
Okay.
Okay, so
Type
you have
shit?
the keys to the car.
Mm-hmm.
Have you given your keys to anybody else?
No, the only ones that were there are the ones that were in the car.
Okay, so when you bought the car, there was one set of keys?
Mm-hmm. And then I had another maid, but they're together. They're on the same.
Okay.
This is a simple question, and it should have a definitive answer. Based on what she's just said, the fact that the only 2 keys are in her possession, there's no reason for her to be unsure who has access to the car. She's deflecting.
So you say you've been recently?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, living out of that car?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where else have you been staying?
Sometimes with gentlemen in the green out there.
Caleb?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, we'll talk about who else was in the car with you tonight?
My boyfriend and another young woman I don't know.
Who's your boyfriend?
Devon's.
Where'd you meet him?
Mutual friends.
Okay.
If you haven't noticed already, Alicia is extremely nervous. We're 10 minutes into this interview, and her leg hasn't stopped bouncing up and down the entire time. She's also been moving around in her chair and avoiding eye contact while answering very simple questions. Even without the evidence that they'd already collected beforehand, the detectives would likely already be convinced that she played a part in what happened. Now it's just about exploiting these weaknesses and extracting a confession using everything they know. And the process starts by establishing a timeline.
Who are the other 2 people in the car?
Caleb, I met him through mutual friends too. I haven't really known him that long.
What about the girl? Do you know her name?
I have no idea who she is.
When did you meet her?
Just tonight.
Where did you pick her up?
Bro,
she is.
Hey, like I said last time, you feel me? She up to no good with those eyes, bruh.
When did you meet her?
Just tonight.
Where did you pick her up at?
I don't know, because I don't know Denver like that.
Where were you at before you
The
left
Chuz.
to go pick this girl up?
Caleb's.
Was Devon there with you?
Mm-hmm.
So you were a few hours at Caleb's house, and then Caleb asked you to go pick this girl up. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you picked her up, and you were headed back to Caleb's house when the police stopped you. Right? If I got all that right.
We were headed back, but I stopped at the 7-Eleven down the street so I could
Which 7-Eleven?
get some drinks. The one off of Colfax and Ogden, I think.
Okay.
The detectives now have a story that Alicia is locked into, meaning that if anything she says contradicts this, they'll know she's lying, and they can use it to trap her to put on more pressure. Alicia, however, is playing a game of her own and trying her best to dodge questions and hide certain details from the cops, but she's fighting a losing battle, and the cops know it.
How long have you been staying at Caleb's house?
Not really a lot.
I'm just trying to get a sense of like every other night, every night, 5 nights a week. What? Just give me an idea.
Maybe like 1 to 2 nights.
1 to 2 nights a week. What were you doing today before you went over to Caleb's house?
Mainly just hanging out with my boyfriend. He's trying to keep me distracted off today.
Oh, because of the that's we all have stuff like that.
I know.
Yeah. Okay, so where were you hanging out at?
Really just everywhere driving.
Driving.
But that was about it.
Okay. Relax, it's okay.
No, I'm fine. I'm just tired.
Okay.
But Alicia is all too aware that the final thing they did last night is exactly what police want to know about, and she absolutely cannot bring it up.
You stayed anywhere else since you come to Denver other than Caleb's or your car?
I stayed at this one girl's house. I don't remember her name. Like I said, I met her through mutual friends. But those friends that I did meet her through, I'm no longer really in contact with.
Okay, how long ago was that you stayed at her house? A week ago?
A week or something.
Did Devin stay with you at her house too?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's with me all the time.
This is an extremely important statement.
If they can confirm that either Devon or Alicia was at the scene of the crime,
they'll be able to lock both of them into it. The detective immediately realizes the importance of this and forces her to double down on her statement.
Now, has Devin been with you the entire time? Since you've been here in Denver? And since he stayed with you at her house? And he's been staying with you in your car or at Caleb's this whole time, up until tonight? Okay. So, has Devin been in the car with you every time you've been out in the car?
I believe so, yes.
Now, on top of the information from before, the detectives know that wherever her car was, both her and Devon had to have been there too. This is where the second stage of the interrogation begins. They're aware she's guilty, have an extremely detailed timeline of events, and know she's feeling extremely uncomfortable. Now, the plan is simple. They want her to give up as much information about the actual murder and the other suspects as possible, so they can easily implicate everyone else that's waiting for their interrogation. So the detectives take a short break. When they sit back down, they plan to switch gears completely. They're going to heavily apply the pressure and attempt to extract a full confession.
Thank you for all this. It's pretty apparent to me you're being truthful about things. And it's also apparent that there's some stuff you don't want to talk about. But we've been sitting here talking for a while. I genuinely like you. I think you're a good kid. Well, to me, you're a kid.
Well, I mean, I am a kid.
Yeah, you're younger than my daughter. Okay. You're up here from the Springs. You've had some stuff in your life, but now you're up here in Denver hanging with these guys that you've got, some histories. Some rough history.
Got some good history.
You're kind of out of your element up here, all right?
Alright, chat, I'm done eating. It's time to really react now.
Other than the people you're hanging with, but these other people have gotten you into a lot of trouble.
Who?
Caleb, for one.
You got me in a lot of trouble.
You just told me we spent a long time.
Yeah, she just trapped herself, bro.
Very
The
clear.
detectives are
No one
smart.
else has been driving
They'll
your car
figure
for
your
the
ass out. So don't even try hiding none.
Or you and Devon and Caleb have been in your car. There's a few random people you don't know, but even when those random people are in the car, you and Devon are in the car. And that's you staying with that?
Pretty much.
Okay.
It's a common tactic to give a suspect an excuse for what they've done. In this case,
You're
the
staying with that
detective
is
says
crazy.
He genuinely believes she's a good kid and has just been swept along in what's happened. It's likely he'll also tell her at some point soon that if she helps them out, they might be able to give her a much lighter sentence. It's also important to note that he's still trying to keep a friendly demeanor to her, and the reason for this hasn't changed. If he starts to get angry at her now, she might become closed off and refuse to tell them anything. If anything, he's even trying to seem fatherly, choosing to mention his daughter and calling her a kid, something that could even be a response
That'd be
to her saying
tactics.
her father passed away when she was younger. However, all of this is leading up to something. They're finally going to reveal why she's really there and exactly what they know.
So, remember the day that it was raining? It was snowing, real bad weather? That was Friday. That night, the night before all that snow and rain, do you remember where you were that night?
Say I could not tell you.
Okay. Do you remember being in a dark parking lot that night?
Stop. Stop.
Look at me. Your car is at the scene of a murder. Someone got out of your car, shot someone, and killed them. Got back into your car and drove away. You just told me that you were driving your car all week.
Now
You
what?
need to tell me the truth.
Exactly.
Honestly, I don't recall.
Yes, you do recall.
Recall?
I don't.
We have it on video. I know that the person who shot this guy is a guy. I know it wasn't you. I know it was your car. You tell me you're the only one driving your car, so you were driving the car.
I mean, yeah, but I don't recall being in wherever you're saying I was.
Picture
She's
yourself
not
in
doing
the
a good job,
situation.
bruh.
If you'd just been told that police believe you were at the scene of the crime, would your first response be, I don't recall? Anybody innocent
Hell no.
would be shocked to hear this information and do everything they could to clear their name.
I don't
and
recall my
distance
ass,
themselves
dude.
from the crime. Alicia was there, and now the detectives are more certain of this than ever, and they're starting to get frustrated.
Honestly, you need to be honest with me here.
I am.
No, you're not. I do know you were driving the car. Now, driving the car could make you an accessory to murder. If you're going to sit here and tell me you don't remember, no one in the world, no one. You put yourself in my position, okay? I know you were driving the car. I know your car was there because I got video of it.
I really don't.
Put yourself in my position. Do you think...
And accessory to murder is a very serious charge, but that's a whole felony gang. So
anybody in the world is going to believe that you don't remember that?
I don't know. I just, like I said, I drive everywhere. And
Yeah, you would have remembered this, though.
This is a chilling line from the detective, and you can clearly see it almost startles Alicia. The sight of that man being shot will be burned into her mind.
And then your ass, you think it's a fucking good idea to fucking run over his body, hear the crunching and creaking of all his bones, and you're like, I don't recall? Yeah, fuck all that shit, bruh.
And being so clearly reminded of it would be jolting, to say the least. In fact, the detectives didn't even realize exactly how traumatizing it might have been until just moments later.
Tonight, Caleb had a gun on him. Did you know he had a gun on him?
No, because I don't just pat everybody down that comes in my car.
Well, you know he owns a gun, right? You're staying at his place. You drive with him every day.
Not every day, but...
Well, I mean, so he probably carries a gun with him for protection. In the parts of town.
Well, really, I don't really like seeing guns. I don't really like being around guns.
But
only because of what happened to my dad.
Have you seen him with a gun before?
Not really, no, because I don't pay attention.
What happened to your dad with a gun?
He was murdered.
He was murdered?
Yeah.
Okay. With a gun. So this was probably pretty traumatic for you seeing someone murdered with a gun.
I did not see anybody being.
It happened right in front of your car.
GG.
I said I don't recall.
Notice how quickly the detective hones in on her father's murder and how similar that may have been to this incident. He's looking for any opening to make her feel uncomfortable and guilty. And as horrible as it may sound, this is about as good as you can get.
No, literally.
So the detectives take one last break to think about their final move and come back with the last and possibly most damning piece of evidence of all.
Let's go water or something.
They gonna come in with pictures? Don't tell me they're gonna come in with pictures, bro.
You've been on the other side of this, haven't you? With your dad. You've been on the other side of this whole thing, haven't you?
What does that mean?
I mean, you got a family member murdered. So you've seen the other side of this.
Well, not really. Not really. They let the man that did it go away.
They did. How'd that feel? Did they catch him and not?
And let him go? I mean, the way I see it, it's life's go ahead and live it.
No,
you know?
that's not all right. You don't believe that.
Yeah, she does not believe that shit, bro.
There was a gun in your car.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the gun that they took out of your car?
I didn't see it, no.
You didn't see it, but they took the gun out of your car. Okay, that was the gun that was used to murder this man. And prove that too. That's an easy one. The gun that was in your car.
You sure it was?
Oh, I'm sure it was. Yes, I can prove that. That's easy.
You sure it was as crazy.
This man's chest at the autopsy came from that gun that just came out of your car.
Yeah, cause like the forensic shit they can do with that, bro.
Your car was in the parking lot where he was shot. You tell me, how did the gun that murdered a man get into your car?
I don't know.
The detectives get very little other information out of her from this point onwards, but they've already gotten more than enough. They've heavily implicated her in the crime, and it sounds as though Devon had to have been there with her too. It's at this point that we'll take a break from the suspect's interrogation, as unfortunately,
move on to Devon.
Convicting the criminals is only one half of these officers' jobs. And while all of this is going on, another team of detectives and officers are tasked with the brutal job of breaking the news of Andrew's death to his family.
Damn, bruh.
Andrew's girlfriend Jessica was the only one awake, so in the middle of the night, she'd get a knock on the door from a group of detectives.
All right, Jessica. Well, I appreciate you answering my questions. So I have some news for you. It's not. I'm just gonna come out and say it. Andrew's dead.
You're joking?
I'm not joking. Andrew's dead.
That shit's heart wrenching to hear, bro. I hope I never have to hear that shit.
He was shot, and he died in the parking lot.
Oh my god! Have you guys already informed his mom or anything?
You're the first person I was able to get a hold of. And I know that this is hard to hear.
Oh my god.
This clip is devastating, as it
Nah,
seems like
real
Jessica
shit.
had absolutely no idea of any of the events that transpired.
Thank God he didn't say that he got
As
run
far
over
as
too,
she was
bro.
aware, Andrew was simply going out to get them barbecue dinner. However, as sad as this is, detectives have to consider the possibility of Andrew having some sort of connection to the group. For all they know, this could have been a drug deal gone wrong or some other illegal activity that caused the shooting. With this in mind, detectives would bring Jessica to the station where they could conduct a formal interview to determine if Andrew had any prior connection to the group that killed him. While preparing for the interview, a strange discovery would be made.
Oh?
Police were given an anonymous tip that Jessica's own brother had been planning to kill Andrew.
What?
The two had supposedly a recurring issue with one another that had gotten
Bruh.
progressively worse. This is awfully coincidental.
Yeah, it is
Something
coincidental,
detectives
bruh.
need to get to the bottom of.
My brother just saw it on the news. They just put it on the news.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. And then I saw the picture of him on there.
Okay. I bet that was pretty rough. So I received information going back a year, maybe 2 years. Your brother had threatened.
Oh, I think her brother may have, Jessica's brother may have threatened him, but he never followed through. Like the guy said in the video, it's just extremely coincidental. I don't think he was actually involved in it, but
Andrew.
Yeah,
let's see.
He didn't threaten him directly. It was indirectly to me. Meaning I was driving to work one morning and we were having a fight, and that's when he really unnerved me, so I told Andrew, and then Andrew wanted to take it to the police, and the police said your best option would be just to move away from the situation.
Wow.
What was said? I mean, it was obviously fairly egregious if...
Basically, it was just probably something to the effect, I'll just take him out too.
What do you think he meant by that?
I mean, well, the first thought to my head is to kill him, taking someone out.
While these comments from Jessica's brother are disturbing, Jessica doesn't seem too bothered by it now. But at the time, they took it seriously enough to move houses just to get away from him. But the detective can't just take Jessica's word for this. Luckily, there are some simple ways that he might be able to prove if he was involved or not.
What kind of car does your brother drive?
A Pathfinder.
Pathfinder.
Green. Well, like a dark forest green.
Does your brother have access to firearms or anything like that?
He's not allowed to.
Why not?
Oh.
He has charges.
Oh, brother.
Stupidity. And I don't know all those crimes because I didn't bother to try to talk to him about them.
The description of his cars don't match up with the one on CCTV at all, and if he's not allowed access to any firearms, then it's very unlikely that he was their guy. However, before they wrap up the interview...
I mean, yeah, it would be unlikely that it's their guy, but it's still alarming. The fact that he has charges alone, So it kind of just begs the question whether or not he was truly involved or not.
Jessica asks
Me?
a final...
I don't really think he was involved,
question.
but
Can I just ask you one question?
Sure.
Andrew? Can I ask you, kind of, where he was shot? Just because, his mom told me that, when he was shot, the witness who saw it ran to him and stayed with him until he passed.
He was shot in the chest. Okay.
Yeah.
damn, bruh.
No, nobody deserves that. From all accounts, from what you've been saying, it seems like he was a very good guy.
Yeah.
This question echoed in the detectives' heads for the rest of this case. It really seemed like Andrew was a nice, peaceful man who was brutally killed that night. Detectives would go on to interview Jessica's brother as well, and managed to fully clear his name as a suspect. Caleb, Devon, and Alicia had no connection to Andrew.
Zero connection. What about that unknown girl, though?
This was a cold-blooded murder. This case had just taken a far more sinister turn, and detectives had to find justice for not only Andrew...
Now that girl Eternity had to have something to do with this shit, bro.
They would bring in Caleb, the man who they at this point believed
The man with the gun,
actually
right?
pulled the trigger. But Caleb wasn't planning on making things easy. His interrogation lasts just 4 minutes, but opens up an entirely new
4
side to
minutes?
this
What the
investigation,
fuck?
filled with dozens of shocking new pieces of evidence, all sparked by just one tiny thing that he said.
All right, Caleb. It's been a long night, huh? Yeah. Hey, Caleb, I'm Detective John Meone. I'm a detective here with Denver, and I'm going to talk to you about your traffic stop, your friends, and the gun that you had on you tonight. What's your home address, Caleb? 1548 in Fontaine. If you want to talk to me about what happened, your answer is yes. If you don't want to talk to me, you should say no. No, without avoiding. Okay.
The interrogation ended here, but unbeknownst to Caleb, he...
Yo, chat. Oh, I didn't get an Amber Alert. Yo, I swear to God, I felt my room moving, bro. I felt the ground shaking. I thought I was gonna die. Hold on. Okay, yeah. I think I'm good. I think. Yeah. I'm good. I'm tripping. My fault.
A crucial piece of evidence: his address, and it took police no time at all to obtain a search warrant.
Police, open up the door. Police, open the door. Show me your hands. Show me your hands. Step up. Who else is in here?
Nobody just me, sir. I don't live here. This is not my house. This is a friend's house of mine. I apologize. If you're in here, make yourself known. Do it now.
There was an earthquake yesterday too, bro. Yeah, bro. I was inside of that earthquake, bro. My happy ass going to college. I was during lecture, bro. I was in lecture at like 10 some towards the end of the lecture. The whole goddamn room started shaking. I'm like, what the fuck? Does that mean we can end lecture early? But no, we did not end lecture early. In fact, it went past our normal lecture time. So fuck me.
That was one of Caleb's friends, and he's one of the 3 keys inside this apartment that would unlock the case for the detectives. The second was this giant stock of 9mm bullets that perfectly matched the bullet found.
Oh yeah, I gotta remove the chat filter somehow. I remember adding one, but
inside that was the most shocking.
I look, you want it disabled now.
Hadn't even realized it yet. Instead, they wanted to have a quick conversation with the man they found inside. It seems that Caleb was known to this guy as Modelo and Devon as Silencio. Often friends of suspects like this tend to keep.
Wait, hold on. What is it?
Inside, it seems that Caleb was known to this guy as Modelo and
Modelo
Devon as Silencio.
Oh hell no! Those are your nicknames? Those are your goddamn street names. Yeah, wrap it up. Y'all guilty as shit.
Often friends of suspects like this tend to keep their mouths shut out of trust, but this time, well, see for yourself.
Modelo got out of the car, I guess, to go mug this dude with a gun. Dude dropped the wallet on the ground. Modelo unloaded the gun into somebody, I guess. So whoever was in the car, I guess, Silencio just told me that they saw him get back up or whatever, and they ran him over as they drove off. That's all I know.
This was everything detectives could have asked for, but what came next was their most haunting discovery of all. Inside Caleb's house was a receipt from 7-Eleven dated just minutes after the murder.
Wow.
Proving that Caleb, Devon, and Alicia were indeed the ones laughing at the gas station after the murder. All of these events transpired over 24 hours, but police had left out one crucial suspect, Devon, aka Silencio, and it was for good reason. Police knew Devon was desperate to keep his girlfriend Alicia from getting charged, so if they could use that against him, they might be able to get him to admit to the murders. The mounting pressure on Devon became so intense that he started confessing to other crimes and robberies he had committed in the past.
What?
I'll tell you straight up, me and Caleb together have done crimes before. Okay.
What you're about to witness is a 21-year-old talking himself into over 300 years in prison.
300?
Yeah. Devon? Devon. Do you go by Devon? Yeah. I'm probably gonna screw that up, so if I do, I apologize, alright? I'm not worried about it. So, Devon, like I said, my name is Mark Spurgeon. I'm an investigator with the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. You know Nate, right? You know we're both cops? Yep. Okay. It's been my understanding that when they made contact with you this afternoon, that you were willing to talk to us again. Is that true? To an extent, yeah. Okay, to an extent. Okay, I just like to start and make sure you understand your rights, because one of the things I don't want to do in this room is violate your rights. You have these rights, and I think they're important to you. So, you know where you're at? Yeah. All right. Well, kinda. All right. I know this sounds stupid, but I want to make sure that you understand what we're doing. Where you at? Some police station. Okay. All right. What state are you in? Colorado. Who's the president? Trump.
The detectives are being perhaps even more careful at the beginning of this interrogation than they were in Alicia's. They want to confirm that Devon is of sound mind right now, leaving the defense absolutely no opportunity to invalidate this piece of evidence in court. They can't leave
Can't claim mental insanity, bro.
because they know he's likely only here for one reason: to confess.
I'm into this investigation somewhat late, so I kind of want to start out and ask you, why are we sitting in this room? Why are we here? Fill me in.
You about crack?
I was involved in the murder of somebody.
Oh, he.
That's all.
Okay. Okay.
So tell me about
W
it.
detectives.
Because there's a reason that you want to talk about it, right?
I just want to get my girl out of trouble because she had nothing to do with it.
All right. Like I said, I come in late to this. Who's your girl?
Alicia Valdez.
The detective's plan worked perfectly. He's here to tell the cops everything in hopes that he can maybe get his girlfriend out of trouble.
Yo, his girlfriend's
You can
cooked.
still clearly see how uncomfortable with this he is. As soon as he's asked why he's here, he goes from sitting perfectly still to dancing around in his chair, searching his pockets, and leaning back away from the detectives. It doesn't matter if he thinks this is the right thing to do, he still knows he's being checkmated, and he's about to sentence himself to a lifetime in jail.
Want to get her out of trouble?
Yeah.
All right.
She had nothing to do with it. She's not a criminal. She ain't even been to jail before till now.
Okay. Was she there?
Yeah, she didn't know anything was gonna happen though. She didn't have any hand in it at all.
Okay.
I was driving and you know you can figure out the rest. I'm sure you already have.
Yeah, GG's, bro. You was driving. No, bro. When that car got pulled over, she was driving.
Like I said, I'm coming into this new. I learned about this literally this morning. They asked me to come in and kind of assist, so that's what I'm doing. Do me a favor, walk me through. Because if you want to get her out of the situation she's in, I understand, I respect that, but I need to know what happened. So walk me through it.
We were driving around honestly for nights, having fun.
Drive around having fun?
Yeah. We like to drive. It's fun. We listen to music. Then we had to pull into this parking lot. And then from there, I don't really feel like I need to speak on it.
Why not?
Because you guys already have pretty much everything figured out. You guys know she did not pull the trigger.
Okay.
That's what matters. I'm just here to get her out of trouble. I'm not here to get anyone else in trouble, except for myself, obviously.
Right.
All I can tell you is no one knew that the shooting was gonna happen. It was not planned.
So it wasn't planned?
Hell no, it wasn't planned. Who plans on driving to a parking lot shooting some random white guy?
Were you planning on robbing him?
Like I said, I wasn't planning on doing it.
Was Caleb planning on robbing him?
Like I said, I'm not gonna speak on that.
This is one of the detectives' leading
Now
theories
speak
of
on that,
what
huh?
happened. They don't necessarily believe that they planned on murdering Andrew. They think that this was more likely a robbery gone wrong. They intended to just steal Andrew's money, but ended up freaking out, shooting him, and running him over to ensure he couldn't turn them into the cops.
What makes you guys go at this kid?
Who?
The victim, the kid that died.
He's not a kid. He's 27. But
right. He is to me.
True.
But wait.
Like
What you mean he 27? You know his age?
I didn't know the most.
You know his age. Okay. That's
I
odd.
didn't plan on anything happening to him. I didn't know what was gonna happen to this guy. So when something went off, I drove off.
Okay. What happened? We need to know what happened.
Well, everyone knows he got shot.
Yeah, I know that. But I'm trying to figure out who shot him, and I need somebody to tell me that.
Well, I'm not gonna tell you anything because I'm sure you guys already know. And
Yeah.
if you guys can't figure that out, then there's some issues. Because
Well, let me ask you this. What I'm trying to...
She didn't shoot. You know, she didn't pull the trigger. I told you I was driving.
Right.
I mean, can put the rest together. It's not up to me.
But I guess I'm trying to understand is why. I'm trying to understand a motive.
I don't know. I told you. None of us knew that happened. I'm sitting in the damn car.
Mm-hmm.
So I obviously don't know anything's gonna happen.
You drive him there. You put him in that lot.
Unfortunately, that's how it looks. That is how it happened.
Yeah.
It's just nothing. I'm telling you, nothing was planned.
Let me ask you this. Were you just thinking of... Was Caleb, or do you even know it was Caleb trying just to rip off, get some money? And it's bad?
I've done before.
At this point, it's obvious that Devon's lawyer will have told him clearly not to discuss anything that doesn't relate directly to Alicia. He's only going to talk about anything that might help get her out of trouble. It's also at this point that the detective realizes that. He knows that he's not going to get anything out of Devon beyond that, so that's when he decides to do something extremely clever. He's going to abuse the fact that Devon only wants to get Alicia out of trouble, and phrase his next question in a way that forces him to give up some vital information.
Damn.
I'm not gonna speak on what, like, anything else besides me and Alicia.
Well, let me ask you this. Did you guys talk about it?
What do you mean?
Did you guys talk about it? Did you and Caleb say, hey, this is what we're thinking about? Because I'm trying to figure out, is she the one planning this?
Alicia had nothing to do with any of this.
So help me understand that.
I'll tell you straight up, me and Caleb together have done crimes before.
Okay.
Yo, GG.
This one right here. This is supposed to go like that.
How was it supposed to go?
Like I said, I don't see the need to get in all that. It's not going to benefit me or her. I don't see, or him.
Well, right now we're still trying to figure out her role. And if we can explain her role, and there's only two people that can explain her role, you and Caleb. Caleb ain't talking to us. Without us understanding the specifics of how this went down, and if her involvement or what her involvement was in that, with some explanation that we can go back to a DA and say, hey, this is what's going on. This person was honest. She didn't know it was going to go down. But I've got to know that, but I've got to understand how it got planned then. You understand? I have to have some type of specifics to try to sell that. If you want to try to help her, help her.
Put simply, if Devon wants to get Alicia out of trouble and prove she didn't plan the murder,
Confess,
he'll have
bruh.
to tell them exactly who did, solving the case for them on the spot. He's been checkmated, because no matter what story he tells them from this point out, they've got the evidence to prove or disprove it. Their entire plan was just to get him to talk, and that's exactly what they've done. Now, it's finally time they heard the truth.
That's why I'm irritated about this, because I don't know this food, nothing about him.
Did you see the confrontation go down between Caleb and this guy?
It looked like the white dude was attacking the person, honestly, but I saw the end of it right before the dude got shot.
Do you remember when you say the white dude was attacking the other guy, right? Could you describe it to me?
It looked like they were squared up and the white dude was rushing the other guy.
Let me ask you, if I stood up, would you show me? If I stood up and I'm the white dude, would you show me? Or let me be the shooter, you be the white dude. Would you do that?
Yeah.
So I understand it? Give me the visual.
So if you're the other dude, the white dude.
So I'm the other guy, right?
The white dude's on a bend like this, and it looked like he was squared up, started running toward him.
Okay, what's this guy doing?
Running backwards, and that's when I heard a gunshot.
All right. Do you remember? Stand up again for me.
Yeah.
So how close are they?
They're about,
Come to me.
They're about probably about this, maybe a little further.
Okay.
And then that's when I heard a gunshot go off, and the white dude rushing him.
So the right dude's closing that gap?
Yeah.
So come in. Do they ever get right on top of each other?
No.
So there's always a distance.
Yeah. It's always about both their arms distance.
So, all right.
About both their arms.
Okay. Did the white dude have anything in his hand?
I couldn't see. I saw the last end of it. I wasn't really looking for details. I was kind of confused on what was going on.
Okay. All right. This guy, not the white dude, the other guy. Hands together, hands apart.
He's kind of like, he was standing like this, trying to tell the dude to back up.
Okay.
And that's when the white dude kept rushing. I'm assuming maybe he tried to reach for the gun. I don't know.
Okay.
But that's when the shot goes
Was the
off.
gun in the right hand then?
I can't remember.
Okay. But he had one hand up and the other hand back.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Getting a suspect to act out an incident is a great way of proving they actually knew what happened. They may be able to match the movements to the CCTV footage or witness accounts, and a defense team will have a hard time arguing that anything here could be misinterpreted. From what Devon is saying, it seems as though there was a struggle between Caleb and Andrew, where the shooter approached Andrew, who quickly tried to defend himself. It's becoming increasingly obvious that this was intended to be a robbery, but when Andrew tried to fight back, it turned into a murder in the blink of an eye.
So when these guys are in your windshield, are they across from each other? Like you're looking at the sides of each other?
They're like this. Position kind of like this.
Could you draw for me?
The white dude, I can't draw, but the white dude's standing. They're both standing. White dude's closer to me. They're kind of like this.
All right, so you're the driver, right? White dude's closer to the front of the car?
Yeah, kind of.
All right, so if you're looking, are you looking at his back, you looking at his sides, looking at his front?
Kind of like that, yeah.
Like this? Where's the other guy?
Right where he is.
I'm Caleb. Where's that you at?
Where's the other guy?
They're like that, literally. And then, but it's a little more this way, and I'm a little more back.
So this way?
Yeah.
What are you seeing of this guy, his front?
I'm not paying attention to him, I'm paying attention to this guy.
Okay. And you think you see him kind of rush?
No, he did rush.
Okay. So he rushes, but not to the point where they're on top of each other.
No, they didn't get it.
They didn't get it.
The other person was backpedaling.
Okay, so this person's moving back,
But
arm up.
They've been backpedaling.
Okay, so I'm assuming Devon is right here, right? Right here in the car. And this would be Caleb, and that would be the victim. I see.
That's when the shot goes off.
Okay.
Tell me where Caleb's arms are at. How's he at?
I'm not even saying it was him.
Again, it sounds as though as soon as Andrew realized he was being robbed, he started to go on the offensive, forcing Caleb backwards. According to Devon, he then tried rushing Caleb, which scared Caleb into shooting him. They're slowly closing in on the truth here, but not quite there yet, which is why they're still trying to play some tricks on Devon to try and get everything out of him. Devon hasn't admitted that the shooter was Caleb, but notice how the detectives are consistently naming him as the shooter throughout the story. They're trying to get Devon to go along with it and agree or accidentally admit it himself, but he's not slipping up. However, the detectives are relentless and don't stop trying for another hour of tireless interrogation. It's then that Devon finally makes...
Put this dude through everything.
What? This video goes on. What else you guys talk about? You and her.
Oh, I can't remember all that. Like you said, it's not shit. I just need to work on memorizing.
No, that'd be care about her. That'd be a emotional conversation.
Not really. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't know the dude, so I mean, it's fucked up that this should die, cause I don't know him. I don't know who he is, what kind of person he is, or any of that. But it didn't really strike me emotionally, cause I have that many emotions.
Yeah, because you damn committed too many fucking crimes, bro.
It doesn't really. I mean, I don't really have many emotions about it, except for I'm pissed that he's in jail for it. I'm pissed that he died, of course, because I don't know the guy. I was pissed about that.
Was Caleb pissed?
Was Caleb pissed? Yeah. He just shot somebody.
Imagine
Yo.
you're in this position. You're trying to hide the facts
Jackpot
that
of
your friend
doom.
shot an innocent man, but the detectives have been taking
Nonchalant robber, not that ass.
2 hours. They've been using his name, asking questions about details, and refusing to accept the fact that it might not have been him. Eventually, you would internalize this idea and forget that you even need to lie. That's what just happened here, and it's why Devon barely even realizes that he's just confirmed that Caleb was in fact the shooter. Of course, there were mountains of evidence against him anyway, but now they have it straight from the source, and a conviction will be easy. The detectives now only have one last question. Was this really an accident, or had they planned this out as a murder from minute 1?
Do you remember what he said?
Is he panicked?
All of us kind of panicked because, like I said, I didn't see it coming. I don't like unexpected things like this happening because of this situation exactly. I mean, look at me now. In here for accessory to murder and that. I didn't see it coming. I mean, if I do something, it's going to be planned out and it's going to get done correctly, so I'm not in this situation. That's why I was kind of pissed and I was panicked because I didn't see this about to happen.
So let me ask you this. If this is your deal, and this is your plan, we say you're planning the robbery, you've done it. We've already talked about that. I'm not asking when, dates, when. If this is you're doing, it's not gonna be random like this. It's gonna be planned out.
Well, yeah, and it's not gonna be on a random person usually.
So what Caleb or this other person we're calling did pretty amateur hour, right?
Huh?
Pretty amateur.
What was this happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like I said, it wasn't even planned. So I mean, you can't even. I don't even think amateur would be the right word. Random.
Yeah, I don't think her brother had anything to do with this, bro.
It's not random people, which is why I'm irritated about this whole situation because I don't know who the hell this guy was, except for what the news said. But the news always makes any white dude who dies look like a peach. So I don't know, but that's why I'm irritated about this because I don't know this fool nothing about him.
Devon's main point ended up being that if he had planned the murder, then they simply wouldn't have caught him. So it had to have been a spur-of-the-moment decision. But the detectives didn't buy it. And in fact, this approach actually made things exponentially worse for Devon. The interrogation ended shortly after, but the detectives decided to do some further research into these other robberies. They ended up connecting him and Caleb to multiple other serious incidents, including
Hold on.
the robbery
Vigil and Howard committed robbery on a cell phone store the very next day?
of a cell phone store the very next day, and an incident where they fired shots into a pregnant woman's home. It was clear that they had been planning multiple robberies and were using Caleb's gun as a method of intimidation to make money. As you could imagine, this didn't look good in court for any of them. Devon received the highest sentence. He was found guilty on 18 counts, including first-degree murder, attempted murder, aggravated robbery, and aggravated intimidation of a witness. He was sentenced to life in prison plus 279
deserved.
years.
Deserved,
Caleb
bro.
also received a similar sentence of life.
Hey, some of these motherfuckers might need euthanization, bro. I'm not sure if this is enough.
In the car, Eternity Lopez was also interrogated, but was found to be completely uninvolved. She was picked up after the murder,
No
so
shot.
it seems like she was in the wrong place at the wrong time. She was not charged with the incident. But possibly worst of all for Devon, his efforts in the interrogation room failed to even help Alicia get off any lighter. She was also found guilty in the murder of Andrew Janicek and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Yeah, deserved. Deserved, bro. Literally deserved. Holy. Yeah, good video though. Hey, Dr. Insanity always has some like interesting shit. Keep game looking. Next, we got Tommy G though. We got Tommy G. The hunt for Chicago's deadliest serial killer. What can I say? Deadliest serial killer. Shut up.
50 unsolved strangulation cases that could be the work of a serial killer.
Dozens
Strangler,
of women were
bruh.
strangled or asphyxiated. Their cases remain unsolved.
Serial killer on the loose in Chicago.
A lady by the name of Tamala Edwards was found in 2210 in a garbage can just like this in this alley.
What?
Their bodies were found in
That's so
vacant lots,
fucked up.
abandoned buildings and alleys, dumped in garbage cans, and
Holy
some
shit,
even
bro,
set on
what?
fire.
Why do you think they specifically targeted you?
Have you ever been abducted?
Yeah. He killed so many women, he don't know how many.
Is there one of these killers that you think is doing the lion's share of the killing?
Yes.
In today's episode, we are investigating the infamous Chicago Strangler, a killer who some experts say has taken the lives of between 50 and 70 women over a 2-decade period, making this person one of the most prolific serial killers in American history. The killer's MO seems to be this. He tends to hunt primarily black women, many of them who are sex workers, and he kills them by strangulation after he
Actually
lures
so
them into
messed up,
alleyways on the
dude.
south and west sides of Chicago. The question right off the bat is this: why isn't this being discussed more? Because I'm guessing for many of you watching, this is your first time hearing of a guy who, to put it in perspective, may have killed 3 to 4 times more people than Jeffrey Dahmer. To properly
Wow.
dive into this, we assembled a cast of experts. First, Mike Hammond, a retired Chicago homicide detective who has put dozens of murderers behind bars in his career. Next, Thomas Hargrove, the founder of the Murder Accountability Project, an organization with the country's most complete accounting of unsolved murders. And Thomas is known as a guy that can algorithmically predict with a high degree of accuracy if a serial killer is in your city. Then we got Reverend
What?
Hood, a pastor and community leader who has built a network supporting survivors of strangler victims. And Reverend Hood claims to have sat face to face to the guy who is the primary suspect.
Reverend
of this
Hood.
all. Next up,
Amen.
Rabbi Ben Yosef, a community activist demanding justice for the victims, who takes it upon himself to bring us to some of the murder sites. And finally, we even speak with a family member of a strangler victim and with Chicago citizens who live in the areas where the strangler strikes. Let's get to it. We're gonna meet a community leader who's been
Chicago.
tracking down these murders, trying to bring justice to these victims and their families. In fact, we're very close to a murder site where a murder happened 20 years ago in this alley behind me, and we're gonna look into that. How many of these murders are unsolved?
Pretty much all of them have been unsolved.
And how many are we talking?
We're talking 51 plus.
In 2004, Tamala Edwards was murdered right here in this alley. The killer strangled her, wrapped her up in a comforter that was then tightly bound with duct tape, and placed her in a garbage can, where she eventually was discovered.
A lady by the name of Tamala Edwards was found in 2210 in a garbage can just like this in this alley.
Damn, that breathing, bruh.
The way how these murders happen is, as you just said, a graphic example of no regard for human life. To put a human life within a garbage can, to say, I'm going to do this to this person, just goes to show how horrific and how much an outcry and outrage there should be within this city.
Exactly. Chicago's fucked.
What comes to mind when people say the Chicago Strangler?
I think it's more than one.
We believe that it's more than one strangler. I would have felt better if it was said mass murder, something to culminate that more than 51 women got killed.
There's certainly not one. We know that for sure, because the 51, there's 21 different DNA profiles.
Good lord.
We found that the overwhelming majority of these homicides involved women who were strangled or asphyxiated, and their bodies were left out of doors, often in abandoned buildings, empty alleyways.
I think something happens to wake that demon up that's in their cranium. And once that demon is woken up, then it goes on the bend of killing women.
On the quest to build a profile of who this killer is, let's reference...
Yeah, that's how it is for Hall Criminals, bruh.
The McDonald Triad.
A switch flips, and then
used by famous serial killer
they do some fucked up shit.
The three behaviors noted in this theory are obsessive fire setting, persistent bedwetting, and cruelty towards animals. This theory has faced pushback by researchers, but what it hones in on is the question on everyone's mind, which is if we can determine the common factors of serial killers, will we be better able to stop and apprehend serial killers before they go too far?
And they won't stop until that bend in their brains settle down.
Her life mattered, that there should be closure for her, and that she should not be silenced because of this, that the community should rally around her because her voice has been silenced.
It's very strange to be in a location, the exact location that you know someone lost their life in a struggle. You can say whatever you want about her occupation, but she was another human living life.
Exactly.
And trying to provide. Yep. And to end up in a garbage can is such a horrific way to go.
Disproportionately, these victims are sex workers or have a history of using illegal drugs.
We go to great lengths to bring you guys inside scoops on a story. How sketchy would you say this is?
It's up there.
Miguel, sketchy rating?
10.
So is it common in your world to hear women that go missing?
Yeah, you hear stuff all the time, like this 30-some-year-old white lady that they found on Lake Cook Road that was like 13 or 16 weeks pregnant when they found her, but she was missing for like 2 days. And then it was 2 weeks before that, somebody else was found near like 5th and Cicero.
So I think it's a serial killer killing motherfuckers, right?
Dion.
I think they just don't be talking about it like that. People like body parts and stuff coming up. People be finding about a river. That shit is normal. So it's like, how the fuck is that normal?
He's got to be
Exactly.
65.
They've just become so accustomed to it.
You know, because he knows the neighborhood.
Their environment.
He knows where the whole stroll is. He knows where to dump these girls. But
What makes you say for sure city worker?
he understands what neighborhoods he can get away with it in and what neighborhoods he can't. And he knows how to move, and he knows probably when the police changes are, shift changes.
A lot of the people that get snatched up is like streetwalkers, right? Yeah. So what attracts a streetwalker faster?
I wouldn't be surprised if like these stranglers are like former cops or people that graduated from the academy.
A white guy with some money, an older white man with some money. So it gotta be an older white male.
But he's also targeting girls that are just hooked on shit out here.
We asked a serial killer expert, and what he says, if you want to know the color of the killer, look at the color of the victim, and almost always it matches.
Our most likely scenario is that there's something like 3 multiple victim killers. 2 are African American and 1 is white.
And how do you know that?
It's what the evidence suggests. One of the victims had DNA at her crime scene that was recovered, and it matched another sexual assault. The victim survived and described a man who had a mustache and apparently a fake Hispanic accent, but was definitely Caucasian.
Have you ever experienced danger on the job?
Yeah, so white guy that used to like back up, and then literally he would make you take your shoes off, and it would be like dead winter. Like you'll have no shoes in the middle of dead winter trying to like get away.
So it's a way to keep you under control in the car.
I guess so you can, yeah, exactly. So most lately, the thing that a lot of people have been doing is having you get in the back seat, and there's like the child safety lock will be on, so you can't get out.
That's happened to you before?
Yeah.
Is that scary?
Yeah.
What do you do in that situation?
It's like you're
Oh, using child safety locks for that shit, bro. Actually disgusting.
A serial killer.
Right.
What does that make you think?
It's a risk, but sometimes people are like, don't feel like they have a choice. So.
It's tough out here, bro. Living life and shit. It's rough.
Just down the alley over there, Makalava Williams was killed just down here. She was killed in 2004. Do you know anything about this particular killing or this particular victim?
Yeah, I do. Pretty sad story. She was in foster care most of her young life. It's alleged she was
Damn,
she was
bruh.
in foster care. She would come back up here to Chicago, and then she's an 18-year-old on her own, and you know, she starts in on the streets, you know.
So many victims of sex trafficking, they left home. They were runaways who apparently thought that they had had enough.
So this was 20 years ago, so this building...
Man, get the... Man, if you don't get this grape Kool-Aid out of here, bruh. Pissing me off.
So this was 20 years ago, so this building may have not...
Yeah, it was. This is
Trying to lock in, bruh.
This door was open, and she was actually found in a bag, like a
In a
duffel
bag.
a laundry bag. Almost impossible. You'd think looking at it, you get a body in there.
Continue to fight for you and stand with you. And we'll do whatever I can to make sure your name is not forgotten.
How do we bridge the gap that people want to work with police, people feel comfortable with police, police are more equipped to do their job? What do you guys think about some of those things?
I don't think there's a disregard for activists such as myself to work with detectives. I do work with detectives and police on these issues.
Will you be looked at as a snitch if you work with detectives and police?
Could be, but the fact is, my job is to bring justice. That's what we stand on.
Let's talk about why Chicago is the perfect hunting grounds for a serial killer to lurk. The truth is, Chicago has an unacceptably low homicide clearance rate. And for reference, a clearance rate refers to the percentage of criminal cases that are solved.
How
Oh,
would you
wow.
rate the Chicago PD performance in finding the perp?
I think you're always trying to do.
That shit probably like a 30%
Trying
then.
to- No life has, to me and the people I worked with, no life has more or less value than another, because you're always talking to the victim's families, so you're trying to always do the best you can.
Historically, Chicago's homicide solve rate has been concerning. In 2016, the city reported a clearance rate of just 21%, which is
Bro.
much lower than the national average of 60% at that time. In other words,
20%.
of the time, the murderer gets away. That is insane.
The cycle keeps getting worse and worse.
Worse, and it spans, and then we have another 20, 30 years of these cases are not getting solved because of distrust.
I don't see the Chicago Police Department.
I can't imagine just being one of these stranglers. Because there's obviously multiple. They said they found at least like 21 DNA samples. Something like that. But I can't imagine just killing someone and then, you know, killing them in GTA and then just moving on with my life. Like that's not something a normal human just neglects. Like, what the fuck? Not like seriously, dude. That's actually crazy.
Anything really proactive, because policemen are just simply afraid that they're going to be prosecuted or thrown on a bus just for trying to do your job.
5,000 police investigations in Illinois are awaiting DNA test results. The backlog is huge, and today at a hearing, lawmakers demanded action on 50 unsolved strangulation cases that could be the work of a serial killer.
My theory is this: the Chicago Strangler has been able to remain undetected for so long because he operated in a perfect storm. First, his victims. He targets women in poor communities working vulnerable jobs like sex work. Sadly, the people he kills don't seem to generate the same uproar that a brutal murder of a suburban.
Exactly.
Next, he kills in neighborhoods that already have high crime, thereby allowing his crimes to blend in better due to
they mask themselves.
cases to work. And finally, these neighborhoods are places where police trust is quite low, which leads to a general lack of collaboration of citizens willing to work with police and give them helpful information to help solve the crime. What do you
he
guys
found the
think
perfect spot.
Have you ever been abducted?
Yeah.
What was that like? What happened?
So I guess there was like 3 brothers, and one of them kidnapped me and brought me back to like this house. I guess they were selling drugs out of because they had like the windows boarded up and, you know, a thing on the door or whatever. And literally kept me there. I was there 3 days and just like the guy wouldn't leave, and I just had to.
3 days.
I think I got McDonald's like 1 time. So he ended up leaving, and the door guy or person, whoever was working the spot, I literally just like threw the board and went flying. He started chasing me. There's like ice, middle of winter, no shoes, went flying down the alley.
Damn, bro.
Down the alley with this lady, and I'm like screaming like help me or whatever, and she just like kept going. They don't care. Just leave the windows up, like.
That's just because that's a crazy sight to see. Like, it's almost unbelievable.
Moment for a lot of these people. I know when my pop died, I didn't really confront the grief for a long time, and I was challenged by a mentor of mine to journal about it, write it down. And it was a very painful process, but it also was very healing, revisiting the memories, and I think it was a big step in the recovery process of losing somebody. So I'm honored that they're telling us their story, because a lot of news outlets have reached out to them and they're talking to us. So I appreciate that. We're gonna go in and visit them, and we'll see you inside.
You know, I was involved in as far as from the homicide detective input thing, but the impact of the families, as Mike knows, he tells you, know, and he's taking it to a whole nother level. But all detectives know we have to make those phone calls at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, dude.
God bless you if you never had to make those calls or face-to-face, not even say calls, really face-to-face.
Just heart-wrenching.
And stuff, where you have to, you know, give this bad news to people and stuff. It's like, that's probably like one of the hardest parts of the job. Can you imagine this young lady, how her life trajectory has changed, you know, not having her mother here since she was 9 years old.
Well, my mother meant the world to me. I love and I really miss my mom. It's more so in the back of my mind because I really don't try to think about it because it's just too painful just knowing that it is someone out there possibly that's responsible for the death of my mom.
Yeah.
And also 50 other women. I want her to be remembered as a loving, caring, free spirit, very fun to be around person that loves her children.
Why do you think they specifically targeted your mom?
I think she was just at the wrong place at that time. She was probably stalked and watched. It was a familiar place, and I feel like, you know, they knew her or seen her there before, so it's a possibility. They felt like, you know, she was some type of target, so yeah, I think that's why.
What are the consistencies among the victims that the Chicago Strangler is known for?
Definitely strangulation. They have been known for body parts missing.
Chicago.
On the west side of Chicago, it was in a 2-mile radius, the victims he killed. On the south side of Chicago, it could be up to 3 to 4 miles. South side of Chicago is a lot bigger, and we believe the number was a lot higher on the south side of Chicago, because like this guy here either got off the train stop or somebody that was a professional known in the community to get away with something like a teacher or, you know, something of that sort that's been known in the community. That's what gets me when I look at those deaths. So this person is methodical, and any gaps makes me think he was either in jail or the hospital.
Serial killers should never
Gotta be old.
off the streets. they all should be locked up.
Exactly.
Key thrown away. I don't think that there's no help for them. Teeny weeny component of a cell is buried in their crania, and it is not going to go away unless there's some type of surgery that can
It's like a
be
cyst.
performed on those type of people.
Is there one of these killers that you think is doing the lion's share of the killing?
Yes, Darren Dion Vaughn.
Darren Dion Van shocked the nation in 2014 when police arrested him for the murder of Africa Hardy in Hammond, Indiana. But what began as a single case quickly unfolded into something much darker. Van confessed to killing at least 6 more women, leading investigators to his victims' remains in abandoned homes
Wow.
in Indiana, thereby earning him the nickname of the Gary Strangler. But is it possible that Darren could also be the Chicago Strangler? In his confession, Van hinted that he had been killing for nearly 20 years and his style of killing matches with the MO of the Chicago Strangler. Many
That's just
experts, like
coincidence,
Robert
though.
Hargrove, think that Darren could very well be responsible. Because many of the Chicago murders are near the train line, it's easy to imagine Darren boarding the train from Gary, getting out at a Chicago stop on the south and west sides, giving in to his killing impulse, then returning home to Gary. What's more is in his confession interviews with the police.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That train situation is kind of. Yeah, he might be the Chicago Strangler. I take it all back. What the
Van
fuck?
claims to have victims across multiple states.
Oh yeah.
Darren Vaughn told police in Hammond, Indiana, he's made a lot of mistakes.
4 or 5 in California. How many in North Carolina? 1, because I ain't staying long. Texas, I think there's 2. At least 2 in Milwaukee. And there's 3 in Minnesota. I'm say about 7 in Detroit.
What about?
Chicago? Chicago is a lot.
It's a
One
lot.
of the goals in setting out to do this was to
Bro.
try and solve some of these murders. And so with many of the fingers to Darren, made it to him, made a letter, and we reached out to the Indiana Department of Corrections portal in attempts to reach
Shit, my
him. Now,
fault.
we have no idea if the letter that we sent to Wabash Correctional to Darren made it to him. Maybe it didn't make it past security. So we're still waiting for a response so that we can pursue those leads further. A theory of why Darren's claims of killing more women wasn't explored further is that Indiana investigators wanted to lock him away with certainty rather than complicate his case by making it federal. However, experts like Detective Mike Hammond would
I feel like it should have.
could not have possibly killed all these women. The Chicago Strangler is thought to have killed till 2018, and Darren, arrested in 2014, was already locked away in prison. And secondly, because of the multitude of DNA samples found in the victims, leading Mike to think that we are dealing with multiple killers. The problem is, with many of the victims being prostitutes, being found with multiple DNA samples is to be expected,
Yeah.
and this further complicates tracking down the killer. You had a conversation with Darren Dion Van, who
The Chicago Strangler picks out their victims so fucking methodically. It's disgusting. Genuinely.
He had no problem with talking about the girls he killed in Gary, Indiana, which is exactly 40 minutes from here. Gary, Indiana is across the street, basically, right? But when he talked about Chicago, he said he killed so many he can't remember. And to look at this man, this young man in his face, that was part of the armed services, that looked like he wouldn't even swat a fly, to tell you he don't know how many people he killed, it's sickening.
Part of the armed services too, dude.
I know. We're talking about 51. I know it's more than 85. There's no connection to all 85, but there's still 85 women that's being killed in Chicago.
We first detected him in Gary, Indiana, where he had, was responsible for most of a cluster of 15 murders of women. And then the algorithm signaled that there was a very similar cluster occurring in Chicago, a much larger cluster. And those, the Gary, Indiana murders go back to the 90s, but the cluster in Chicago started around 2001. And we think that's when Mr. Vaughn discovered the joys of public transit. We think he took the Chicago Transit Green Line.
Do these trams have any records? Or do the records get wiped after a certain amount of time?
Recovery sites of these 51. And there is, you'll see a linear pattern of 9 or so victims that occurred right along the Green Line. He has been killing his whole adult life, and he has a difficult time establishing normal relations with women. He speaks to getting killing urges. In fact, you can see his confession at our website. When he gets killing urges, he can't afford his own home, so he was living with his brother and his brother's family. When he would get killing urges, he had to leave. He couldn't stay in the home and possibly harm members of his own family.
Fucking
So
wild.
he would leave. He would walk around Gary, Indiana, or he would go further afoot. It was a very random murder. They were grabbed and usually killed close to where their bodies were found. Nothing very sophisticated in these murders, just opportunistic.
How sure are you that Darren Dion Van has claimed lives in Chicago?
Look at him straight in his eye. He's not lying. He killed so many women, he don't know how many. Now, do I think he killed all 51? No.
It would be nice to point the finger at Darren Dion Van, accuse him to be the likely suspect of all these murders, get some closure, and move on. However, it is impossible that Darren did all these murders.
Yeah.
There were 5 murders that happened.
Again, he was locked up in 2014 and 5 murders happened in 2017 to 2018, so it just wouldn't make sense.
Between 2004 and 2005,
Someone wanted to follow in his
because he was
footsteps.
serving time in an Indiana jail. What he did was, in front of police, he threatened to kill his girlfriend by holding a gas can and lighter in one arm while the other arm was around her neck. There are an additional 5 murders from 2009 and 2013 that he couldn't have done because he was serving a 5-year prison sentence in Texas for a brutal sexual assault. So there are at least 10 murders from this period that Darren could not have done. This further supports Detective Hammond and Thomas Hargrove's theory that there are multiple killers involved, but unfortunately, it also further complicates this deadly mystery.
Too
When was
much.
the last time you were contacted by police regarding your mother's death?
I was never contacted. They contacted my grandmother one time, and it was for identification purposes. When I got older, I contacted them, and they didn't even know anything. They barely knew who she was, and said like, "Oh, the case is the file. We delete the files or something like that, or they don't carry the files."
What does that make you think?
They just don't care. Cause I don't think it's a complex case. I mean, she was found somewhere where she stayed, where she frequently visited and hung out at. So I mean, I don't feel like it should have been hard to find out. You know what I'm saying? Who done it? At least like gather some type of information as to what happened.
So some of the comments I've gotten is if all the victims were white ladies that were accountants or middle class, that the murders would have already been solved right now. But because a lot of the women are black women, minority women that are working the streets, no one cares.
Yeah, I mean,
Feel about that.
Yeah, so in
before she speaks, my take on it is, it's just something the cops can't really prioritize because of all of the cases they just have flowing in. Because let's say they do assign someone to this case while it's already a murder gone wrong or whatever the fuck. It's just like, yeah, I can't speak.
general,
Let's just see what she says, bruh.
Chicago's pretty low on their success rate of solving any kind of murder. It's like 20 or 30%. It's really low. I don't think it's necessarily what color you are. It's just that they know that a lot of those people have like left their homes or whatever. Their families used to them going on binges, missing.
Yeah.
So no one will be exactly looking for them right away.
So no one's really sure
Yeah.
where they are anyways.
Yeah, and like a lot of people don't have him, so if they were to die, who's gonna know anyway?
You ever thought that your mom was got by the Chicago Strangler?
Part of me yes and no. Like a part of me feel like maybe it could have been somebody she knew, and then a part of me feel like it could have been a serial killer, Chicago Strangler.
So we've heard about the crimes Darren may have committed, but what do we know about who this guy is? Little about his childhood is known other than he grew up in Indiana, and in 1991 he enlisted in the Marine Corps but received an other than honorable discharge after only 2 years of
Wow.
service. The specific reasons for his discharge have not been
Not
publicly
disclosed?
disclosed. What we
Fuck.
do know about Darren is this: he has a notable criminal background. However, there is something potentially disturbing that we uncovered. According to a confidential source, he has been arrested over 75 times. However, most of his rap sheet has been redacted. Why? With guys like Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy, we have enough information about them to make a Netflix series. But when it comes to Darren, there's barely any information out on his past.
He got involved with like aliens or some shit, bro.
Has been censored. Why?
What were her injuries? If you don't mind me asking? Was she shot?
No, she was strangled and just beat up real bad to the point where it damaged her brain severely. She was on life support for 2 years before my grandfather decided to pull the plug.
Damn, bro.
I can't imagine what that's like going into a room with
Life support for
family
15
members.
years.
They're disfigured. They're
That
beaten
shit's
up,
so
and
costly. It's costly and sad because you can only hope for them to get better, but deep down, you know, if it ain't happened already, then it's never gonna happen.
Kiana, so does this alley look familiar to you?
Yeah, it does.
And what's going through your head right now?
Just memories and stuff with my mom. These are my last memories with her. We used to stay down here and go to the grocery store across the street.
So you used to live close by?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess what's running through your guys' heads right now?
So I'm looking from a cold case perspective. What year would have been? What year was it?
99.
99.
Yeah.
So, you know, several time ago. So much of this has changed. I can see now about 10 video cameras. Probably weren't here at the time. There are probably buildings that were here, right? That were multi-unit buildings. So I want to know if I could go back and find out what buildings were there. Were they multi-unit buildings? Who lived there? And you can do that. It's a lot of work, but it can be done. You know, I'd be really wanting to look at the specifics of where she was discovered exactly, like within as many feet as I can, and things like that. So this is a tough place because it's pretty desolate.
Two questions. One for each of you is, at any given time, how many murders could a homicide detective be looking at once?
It varied from 13 to 25, 30 at times.
Holy
But then,
shit.
you know, because I worked on a cold case, I would take on a lot of cases.
So there is a perception that if you're poor or if you're black, that the police don't care as much about the murder. As a black detective, can you give the other side of the table?
Yeah, well, I get the other side of the table, and some of that is accurate, you know. So I'm not here, you know. I mean, I love the police department, you know. I mean, it's gas, but I tell people all the time, but I'm not a spokesman for the police department. I mean, you know, I mean, there's some dog asses on the police department, some dog asses at the post office. Why you didn't get your mail on time, you know. That exists in every line of work. The police just seem to be highlighted and spotlighted more and stuff, obviously, and
Yeah.
for good reason. And some.
Oh, hold on. Give me a second. Yo, so I gotta go to my appointment. I'll know when I'll be back, but yeah.